Hi, I'm Elsie from the Santa Barbara Middle School Teen Press, and
I'm Ethan.
I'm Chloe.
I'm Dylan.
And I'm Brooke.
and today we're here with.
John Dent.
Thank you. How did you originally get into journalism?
Well, when I moved here from Canada, which was 23 years ago, I came into this school, and being 2 hours from Hollywood, I was shocked to find there was no video program. So I started a video program. And as I was doing that, I decided that in order to do, and I was a math teacher, by the way, so I wanted to give the kids more than just how do we make videos, but rather how can we tell stories and how can we be proper journalists. And so I actually went and got my master's degree in journalism so that I could give the kids a strong background in journalism. And that's how I started really focusing our students on the world of journalism in not just yearbook, but also, not just DPNews, but also in our yearbook program.
And by doing this, has this kind of turned into like education and I mean, I know it's like educating the kids on how to use cameras and how to make a news show, and like what's the best part of that?
Well, the reality is that they get so many more things than just broadcast journalism out of this experience, right? Deadlines, working together on a team, all the different elements that make the students have confidence, the students to be able to go out and use it. In fact, I would say that 80% of our students don't actually go into a broadcast journalism space, but 100% of our students use all the skills that they learned in this space in all their different areas of their careers and their lives.
I understand that DPNews took home a lot of awards this year. How did you go from reporting on small school news to becoming an award-winning student journalist organization?
Yeah, the awards are awesome. I'm super excited about that. The reality is, though, that our program has been a top-notch program for a lot of years. It's just on a national level, it's very difficult to break through and win awards. In fact, at the competitions that we go to, there are over 250 of the best programs in the nation, and in each category, there's 5 winners. So there's more than 200 schools that don't win a thing, and that was us for a lot of years. We've had a breakthrough the last 2 years. We've won 5 awards. In the previous 15 years, we had only won 3 total awards in 15 years. But that to me is it's certainly a testament to where we are, but it also isn't anything that there was no magic this year that made it special. As far as our program has been producing top-notch quality videos and telling stories for a lot of years, and we finally broke through. Something clicked to make us into that award-winning area. But it's been awesome, but it's also been just one of those things where every year we go and we have an incredible time and we compete and we come back with some great memories and some great stories that we've told. And this year we just ended up with some more awards than we have in the past.
Thank you. DPmedia's campus was, I understand that it was in like portables, and then you moved into this building. And could you tell us a little bit about the journey and how the programs evolved as a result of the new building?
Sure. Yeah, actually, it wasn't in portables. What happened was there were portables physically where we're sitting right now. And the school district had a bond that they were going to replace the portables with some more portables. And I wrote a grant with the help of some of my fellow teachers to say, hey, we'd like to have something better than that. And the district said, okay, we'll take that money that was going to be set aside for these portables and we will allocate it as matching funds if you get this grant. And we were very fortunate to get a $3 million grant from the state and matched by the bond, and that's where this building came about. And so we took that and we had to design it, and so myself and Mr. Caines traveled to different programs in different parts of the country to see what other schools are doing and what other top journalism schools are doing. And we came back and we amalgamated those ideas into the design of this building. And really one of the biggest things and the things I'm most proud of in this space is the collaboration between the various media programs and the interaction that often in classrooms we're isolated into our own space. And that's not what we have in here. What we have in here is we have an opportunity for students to go from one program and walk into another program and feel like they're all a part of something. And that's what the new space has done for us, is really starting to blend our programs and trying to get those various journalists in different areas to be working together.
How long did it take to plan, fundraise, and build this building?
Well, the grant took about 4 months of writing and research and getting partners on board and working with local community members and getting people to believe. And then we got the grant from the state. It took about 2 years, and unfortunately COVID was a part of that, to get the contracts in place and get in the place to start building. And then it took another 2 years for it to be built. And so we moved in August of this past year, and we started the process in the vision started in 2017. So it took a long time, but it's been well worth it. What we've got here is a space that 500 students a year out of 2,000 total students on our campus, 500 students can be a part of a media class every year.
Thank you.
Looking forward to the future, what are your plans for DPmedia?
Yeah, well, I mean, DPmedia as a whole, right now we still have some isolation, meaning although photography is right over in that room, the photographers do not work directly with the videographers, and they do not work directly with the yearbook students or directly with the journalism students. And so my hope for this space is that collaboration really comes into effect, that the future of this is when a videographer needs something, or when the broadcast program needs something that's still, they can walk over and recruit somebody from photography and say, we need this, and they all work together. That's my long-term goals for this space, is that across the board, people feel like they're part of something bigger than themselves. And yes, DPNews is that, and yes, Yearbook is that, and yes, the Charger account, our journalism program is that. But right now, those three things are still isolated, and we want them to all work together.
How do you think you're going to combine the programs in the future?
I think a lot of it comes down to our teachers. We have a teacher that's a second-year teacher in this room doing digital art, and we have a first-year teacher over doing photography, and they are exceptional young teachers that are going to help us to blend together and work together and get the students on board, get our programs all aligned to work that way, and that's how we're going to pull it off, I think.
So could you tell us how you think student journalism has changed or evolved over the years?
Sure. Well, the technology changes so quickly. And so what we found is that students are more willing to pull out their phone and record something. And that allows for students to really be a journalist whenever and wherever. So once we help them to understand the fundamentals of it, they're more likely to jump in. In the past, it was, well, we got to go get a camera, and we got to go get a microphone, we got to go get a tripod to be a journalist. And that's gone away. And I really love that, is that the phone has basically leveled the playing field and made it so that anybody can be a journalist at any time, and that is exciting to me. One of the things that I struggle with as an old dude is vertical, and that vertical journalism and TikTok and people purporting to be journalists or being journalistic coverage when they actually don't verify their facts or they don't do those things. So that's one of the concerns, or one of the things that the new space of journalism is something that we're trying to make sure that our students at least aren't doing that. But that is something that is a challenge around journalism.
What do you think is gonna become of the journal, the recording and journaling older age devices? Are you still gonna try and incorporate those, or what does the future look like with that?
Can you give me an example of devices? What do you mean?
Well, you mentioned that it was a lot more convenient now because kids can just pull out their phone and record. And obviously, full-on recording devices are a lot more professional. They sound better. What is, in the long term, what is happening with that?
Sure. Well, what we try to do, and we're very fortunate, I've written other grants to get other equipment. We try to keep on the cutting edge. We try to at least have some equipment that the kids are engaged by and want to use. And so we actually do have some pieces of equipment that students, it won't stop them from being journalists, not having it, but they are more excited about being journalists when they get to have that equipment. And so I don't think we're going to lose utilizing high-end equipment, and the kids aren't going to use that. There are places and times for that, but also I think that the phones and other devices, the DJI mics that plug right into your phones that give you the high quality audio without having to have the other cameras, those types of things just open up more opportunity.
What are some challenges DPmedia has had to overcome to get to where you are now?
Yeah, there's been challenges. I think the reality is that our campus leadership, principals especially, have been exceptional. I've been here for 23 years. We've had some exceptional leaders, and in order for DPmedia to be successful, you need to have, for programs to be successful, you have to have leaders that allow for that encourage that recognize that the teachers want to do good for students, and they let that happen. That doesn't happen everywhere. In fact, I'm on listservs with teachers across the country, and there's often barriers to success are their leadership. We've had some wonderful leadership here on our site that have supported and always said yes to the things that we want to do because they know that we've got some good things going on. Challenges, we're always looking for support. We're always trying to find other grants, and in order to stay cutting edge, to give the kids, and especially the number of students that we have a good hands-on experience, we have to find funding on a regular basis. And so I'm always looking for grants, and that's our biggest challenge, is figuring out how to fund this public education.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
What makes DPmedia different from other student journalism organizations?
What makes us different? We really believe in student leadership and empowering our students to take charge. So as you, I think, saw in that space, Mr. Caines and I did very little because we have empowered our students to be leaders. In my yearbook team, they come and meet, our editors meet twice a week before school. They set the agenda. They figure out what they're talking about and what they need to do. Then the class, they are running it. I am there for support. I am there for guidance. I teach them at the beginning of the year, or I teach them during the summer, the student leaders, and then they carry that on. And not all schools or programs allow that or encourage that like I do. And so I think that's one of our biggest differences, and one of the reasons why we're most successful is because we're empowering our students to be true leaders in the space and teachers and guides for the future students. And then the younger students want to be those leaders in the future. So they commit the time and they sign up and do those extra hours because they want to be those leaders. And all of us benefit from the end.
Was DP Media always student run?
No. I mean, we had to start somewhere, and that somewhere was my basis of what a teacher should be and what a teacher's role is. And then over time, I realized that the value of empowering students and encouraged the other teachers that are involved to try it and experiment with it. And when they saw, in fact, I had a journalism advisor that came in a few years ago, and she sat down with me and she said, "I want to get to where you are." And I said, "What do you mean?" She said, "You walk in and the kids are running this show, and I see that." And that's hard as a teacher, because isn't that my job? And in fact, when I the first time that one of the students at a banquet said, "Yeah, Mr. Dent doesn't really do much," that hurt, right? I'm a teacher. What do you mean I don't do much? And they didn't mean that. They weren't trying to. What they were trying to say was that I allow them to grow, and I encourage them to grow, and I help them to grow. And often they don't know how much they're benefiting from that until they're in other spaces and they experience other things. And so some of our student leaders come in and will say to me, "I don't get to be like this anywhere else. Everywhere else I have to go and sit and listen, and somebody talks to me, and sometimes we interact, and sometimes my voice gets heard. In here, I get to be in control, and that is powerful for growth and learning." And so, it wasn't easy, and it was something that I had to be okay with not being the smartest person in the room and acknowledging that out loud, right? Often kids come to me and say, "Hey, Mr. Jen, I found this new app. It can make things easier. It can make things faster. Yay, let's do it." In the past, it was I had to do all of that. I was the only one who was coming in with the ideas. And now they come in and they teach me stuff all the time. And I love it. And it's so powerful.
Thank you.
If you could give us one homework assignment, what would it be?
One homework assignment. You know, the world needs their stories told. So my homework assignment would be tell the stories of those people around you whose stories haven't yet been told. I watch, and I'm a big believer in Everybody Has a Story. And in Phil Hartman's series, what's the name of can't think of the series at the moment, but it's this idea that everybody has a story, and the way he used to do it was he would throw a dart at a map of the United States, and wherever that dart landed, he would go up and he'd find a phone book. I don't know if you guys know what a phone book is, but listing of everybody's phone numbers, and they'd flip open to a page for that phone book, and they'd put their finger down, and they'd take that person's name, and they'd go and tell that story. And he traveled all across the country and interviewed people just from doing that. And stories were fascinating, not because they were the Olympic runner or because they were just people, and everybody has a story. So my homework assignment would be go and tell the stories of those people around you. They don't have to be the school president, they don't have to be most popular, they don't have to be on the cheer team. Just everybody that's around you, and tell their story.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for your time.
Yeah.